hopefully.
Definitely recording. So welcome, guys, to Sunday Night Mastermind. I appreciate you all hopping on. I know it's a busy time of year. Everybody's probably just getting back in the house from all kinds of family stuff and busyness. So I appreciate taking the time out. I always know when we get together, it's going to be worth it. There's always going to be something to take home and help you with your business or personal growth or all of the above. And I was really jealous because Mandy got to go see Tony Robbins. And Joseph McClellan III, and I know that she got filled up with all kinds of good stuff for the last 3 days, right, Mandy? And so I thought, who better to share on a mastermind than Mandy just getting back from Tony Robbins? So I just asked her to hop on and just share whatever was on her heart that she wanted to. So I'm just going to be quiet and take notes.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. So thanks everyone for popping on. Appreciate it. And if you're catching the live, thank you for taking time out to listen. I'm laser focused and short usually, but sometimes I go on tangents. It's just my style. I promise I'll try not to keep you here forever. However, I do have a lot of notes. This was an incredible event, but what I want you guys to understand and be super grateful about is that you don't need to spend $1,100 to come to a Tony Robbins event, because it's pretty much the same training at more. So, but you get different distinctions being around different people. Of course, it's a lot more in depth because Tony Robbins is whatever, but Joseph McClellan III, who usually speaks at all of our Prove It events, helped model our More event. So there were so many same things that applied. But I mean, I took nuggets and tons of notes. So I have a lot for you that applies. And it's amazing because like all of these principles apply to whether you're doing Prove It or whether you're doing your full-time job or just setting up your whole life in general. So it was just a really cool experience to be around people that weren't in Prove It, because then, you know, I could hear their different struggles and get different distinctions. And I freaking walked on coal, which was pretty cool. However, I must say, when you do the thing at More, I won't say it for people that don't know, but when you do some sort of type of breakthrough, craziness at More, whatever happens there, I'm not going to give it away, but that one is pretty awesome experience as well. And I'd rather actually do that, but don't tell Tony. I'd rather do what we do at More together. All right. So the first and foremost thing I took away that was pretty much drilled into us all day, the entire time, was basically your one morning routine or your routine that puts you into a state, right? So notice I'm standing. Normally I sit. I'm going to start standing a lot more. But before I got on this call, I actually got myself into state. You can change your emotions within 30 seconds. Granted, Tony Robbins did it in 30 minutes or 30 hours or however long I was in that room. But it's about conditioning. And conditioning yourself. I'm not Tony Robbins. I don't know how to do NLP and all of this stuff. But what I can tell you is it comes from meditation, gratitude, and visualizing things in advance. So the first thing I can tell you is putting yourself into that state by waking up in the morning. I don't care how busy you are, take 10 minutes and put yourself in a place of happiness, gratitude, fired up, whatever you need that day, depending on your energy and weight, like state. Shift it to something positive, because where your focus goes, your energy flows, right? So it's just really important. So notice I'm standing, I'm in a good power stance, I'm pumped up. And guess what? You guys are listening to me, you're believing what I'm saying. No, I'm not Tony Robbins, but I'm freaking certain about what I'm saying. So if you take these skills, stand up straight, get into stance before you do a live video, before you get into your messages, before you go out and talk to your husband or your kids. Imagine the shift in your relationships. Imagine the shifts in your business. Imagine your shifts in your live videos and your views and your content. Like, I wrote notes, but like I'm letting it come through me because I'm in a state versus, hey, Jeremy says, jump online. And then I prepared, but like I'm in a good state and everything's flowing the way it's supposed to. So imagine that transfers when you're talking to someone and they're being really annoying, you're like, I don't really care, I'm certain. Or somebody comes at you and says, hey, listen, the price is too expensive. I don't care, it's really good, buy it anyway. Like, you're not going to be affected, and they're not going to transfer things, because you are 1,000% certain that what you have is going to change their life. So if they say no, or they complain or give you a story, you're strong in your state enough to be like, I don't care. Is everyone with me so far? Unmute and say yes. Like, let's get some. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I should have said that before. I should have gotten your permission if that was okay. But like I said, I'm not Tony or Joseph. I'm learning. So yeah, just unmute when I ask you to do that. So there's that. Also, personal development, he really talks about as well. But he talks about net time. So everybody always says, well, I don't have time. Well, guess what? This is no extra time, net time. So stop with like cooking when you're not, like, if you're cooking, have a podcast on. If you're cleaning, have a podcast on. If you're driving to work, have a podcast on. Do something that is filling your brain with self-development and certainty and whatever. So if you're on the replay right now, and hopefully you're driving or whatever, you're having no extra time to self-develop. So there's no excuse. You just keep going. So there's all that. And essentially too, like, putting yourself in this state is really important, because here's a good nugget for you. Your life isn't stressful. Your thoughts make you stressful. You're stressed out, right? So we all have all our crap going on. We all have things, you know, that we tolerate per day, but you get what you tolerate, and your life is only stressful because you think it is. So if you go back to that state, stand in your power stance, get really amped up, whether it's a song or gratitude or person or whatever you need, just, or self-development or Gary Vee or whatever, get back into that state, because your thoughts will shift, your stress will go down, and you won't tolerate all the crap that goes on in your life. Is everyone with me so far? Cool. Okay, so the other thing that we really talked about is what really stops anybody from doing anything in life is fear, right? So that's the fundamental human need psychology around everything. We're fear of failure, we're fear of not being loved, we're fear of getting rejected, we're fear of whatever, all the crap, all the stories, all the bullshit that you tell yourself, it all comes down to the fact that you're afraid. And I know it's like digging deep, but the only person that is stopping you from doing what you're doing is you. Did he give recommendation for podcasts? No, not really. I mean, I can see what in the group he asks, but yeah, I can pop a few in whatever I'm starting to listen to, but he just, you know, said self-development is what he does, you know, higher level people that you want to learn from. Talks a lot about modeling. So like, if Michael Rutherford, you want to be a legend, go listen to everything that Michael Rutherford has on his thing every day, all day. Freaking call Michael Rutherford. Like, model a person who's already done what you've done, so that, or what you want to do, so that you can get there further faster. So going back to what BS story, and this is what I guys want you to write down, like start journaling and start thinking and start getting it out of your body, because you're on a loop all the time of thinking about what limiting belief, what story are you telling yourself over and over and over that says you can't? What does this cost you? This can't. I can't do this. I'm not going to do my DMO. Like, what does that cost you per day? If you talk to one person every day for 30 days, what would your business look like? If you turned your shoulds into musts, what would your business look like? I should do my DMO. I should do my live today. You're shoulding all over yourself. If you change those shoulds to musts, before I go to bed, I must connect with 30 people. I must do my DMO tomorrow. If you really made those shifts, like, what would your extraordinary life look like? Because you stopped being good and you started becoming outstanding. So the whole point of, so right now, what would you rate yourself? You guys can Wendy, your daughter just ran and jumped up. That was funny. So you guys can type in the chat box or throw them out at me or whatever you guys want. But like, what would you, like right now, how would you rate your performance? Would you rate your performance in your business as poor? Would you rate it as good? Would you rate it as excellent? Would you rate it as outstanding? Because what a lot of Tony talked about was we can be poor, and if you're poor, you're going to get poor results. But the problem with our society is that we have social media, we have tools, we have mentors, we have things that make us good, right? But everybody's on a path to be good, right? So just because you're good, you're probably going to be only getting poor results because everyone around you is good, right? So I might be good because I'm doing my DMO, but I for damn sure can be excellent, and I know it can be outstanding, right? So where do you rate yourself? Why are you there? And what do you need to do to raise yourself from not a good level, not an excellent level, but an outstanding level? Because outstanding people get excellent results. Excellent people get good results. So you always want to play at that higher level. What do you need to do in your business to be outstanding? And the good news is you only need 2 millimeter shift in your effort from excellent to outstanding because you're already playing at a higher level when you're good. Does that make sense? So I guess I want to get some feedback from you guys because I don't like to just talk the whole time. Like, what do you need to do to shift your level from poor to outstanding or whatever you rated yourself? Fire away. I don't want to call him.
Accountability.
You're what?
Accountability.
Accountability?
Like, I keep making a new plan and making a new plan and making a new plan and making a new plan. You know, I'm just kind of like running the groove through the record, but I'm not actually doing the plan. That's my biggest problem.
So what would, like, so are you shitting all over yourself?
Yeah, I'm making all kinds of excuses, but first of all, I'm not making a list, and then I'm not checking it off, and then I'm not following through, and I keep saying, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. So yeah.
But what do you want instead?
Say that again?
What do you want instead of that?
Well, first of all, I think I need to make some realistic goals instead of making goals that are overwhelming, so that I'm less likely to just like give up on them. But they need to be, you know, good goals, but they still need to be somewhat achievable. And I need to like hold myself accountable.
So it takes the same amount of effort to make $100,000 as it does to make 10. So why, like, what does it, like, you still need to have that consistency. You still need to be that accountable. You still need to do all of that. Whether you want to make 10 grand, 100 grand, hit rank 8, hit rank 5, hit rank whatever, you still need to do those fundamentals. So funny, complexity is the enemy of execution. So stop making it so complex.
Right.
And just execute. Like, you're shitting all over yourself, but like, and you don't have to talk about it, but like, why? Like, what fundamentally is holding you back? And it's probably fear. Fear of what? So going back to the beginning, it all loops around waking up in the morning, getting into that state, getting into that morning routine, envision that it's already there, and then go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would recommend 10X by Grant Cardone. It takes the same amount of effort to do one thing as it does to do 100 things. It just is the same effort. So, which leads me to another point, which is disappointment is the key to success. So you're never going to have success if you're not disappointed. They go together. So if you're disappointed in yourself, evaluate where you are, and then move to success and take action to what your success is. So speaking of success, I have one more thing. Does anyone have any questions so far? Because then I'm going to give you the Joseph McClendon, Tony Robbins secret sauce to success formula that I was given. So this is flowing very nicely. Anyone got anything for me? All right.
I think I have the same kind of holdups that Dr. Annette does. I notice the days that I don't start my day off right. I end up jumping right into busy work, which leads to just putting out fires, which then frustrates you and puts you in the negative state where you're not your best version of yourself. And then the whole day just kind of goes that way. So the days that I start with my DMOs, the days when I start with prayer, when I start with gratefulness, and I start with the 3 things I'm grateful for in my life, then I start with the 3 things I'm grateful for that haven't happened yet, but I'm grateful for them as if they have happened. And I try to make 3 things that I want to get accomplished today that are going to get me further in my business. 3 income generating activities that are going to get me further in my business today. Because if I don't get that either the night before or the morning of my day, I just find myself in the hamster wheel, right? Does anybody agree with that? And then you get through the end of the day and you're exhausted and you felt like you felt like you were busy, but then you feel like, well, what did I really get accomplished? You know what I mean? So I have some of the same weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm with you. So who's ready for the secret formula success? All right. So this will help you for sure, Annette and Jeremy and everyone else that obviously struggles through the same step. There's 5 things that are the keys to success. And the first one is knowing your outcome, but being specific. Like, what do you specifically want? Because your focus and your energy will go to that specific outcome. So, Annette, if you're saying, well, I don't do this, this, and this, are you focused? This is rhetorical. Like, are you not focused on this and you're focused on, well, I should do this or I don't do that? Instead of focusing on that, know what your end goal is. Like, whatever rank you want to help your community develop or whatever that is, know what that is, plaster it on a wall, put it on your phone. Like, that is your freaking target. Be specific, and the more specific you are, make it clear, and it should scare you. Because if it doesn't scare you, you're never going to move out of the comfort zone that you're in. So for me, I was playing for rank 7, moving that to 8, because rank 7 doesn't really mean much. It does, but it doesn't. But rank 8 is a high leader, improve it. I want to help our community develop that. That's what I'm going for. Might not know what I'm doing, but that is my outcome. Then it comes to the number 2 step is knowing your why. Why do you want this? Like, for me, I want to build a community that everyone's not only having their lives changed, but they're having their lives changed financially. We're all in a system. Everybody's super positive. It's an amazing community. We're all contributing to a common goal of pursuit of better. That's the why. But because I know the outcome, I know the why, and they're coexisting. So I think that sometimes we miss that. We go right for the why, but we don't really know what the outcome is. So we're all willy-nilly. Well, I do know my why, but like, what is the specific outcome? And number 3, what massive actions do you need to take to hit that outcome? Because good things come to those who take action, not to wait. But you also have to take action, but you also have to understand that you need to be patient. But like, you can't just sit back and be like, oh, well, I hit my DMO does not equal my outcome. I mean, I can't hit at rank 8 if I'm doing 2 follow-ups a day. Like, I have to grind through my list and do it. Now, does that mean you have to be like dead tired, bleeding from your fingers, like texting? And no, that's not healthy either. But like, you do need to take massive inspired action around whatever goal it is you set for yourself. Which then goes into number 4 is knowing what you're getting and being really honest about what you're getting from what you're specifically doing with those actions. So if you're getting shitty results because your DMO is super low and you're not going back to your outcome, then number 5 is you need to change your approach. So it's always, what are you getting? Change your approach. What are you getting? Then change your approach. What are you getting? Change your approach. So, Jeremy, I know you just got up. So it's number 3, take massive inspired action. And then number 4, being honest and clear about what you're getting. What results are you constantly getting? And then number 5, if you're not getting the results you want, you need to change your approach. So that is the key to success. Does that make sense for everyone? I think that's pretty like spelled out. And what success looks like to Wendy might not look like success to me. Or like my expectation of being a rank 8 by tomorrow is pretty silly. But like in the next 6 months, I think that's a good goal. Why is still the same, but I need to take a massive action. And during that period, I'm taking these massive actions, but I need to know what I'm getting. If I'm consistently still where I'm at and now hitting consistent 6, then clearly I need to change my approach. So how do you change your approach? By going back to the beginning and finding something that's already done what you want to do. So I need to partner with a rank 8 or someone that's already done what I like want to do and go from there. But it starts going back to the beginning, and it really does fundamentally all tie in. All of this is how you freaking wake up in the morning and what your state is every single day. It sounds so basic, but like that was like my biggest, like I've heard this 1,000 times, and it really is like, yes, repeated 1,000,000 times, but sometimes you need to hear it 1,000,001 to really start doing it. And whatever reason your execution is, or lack thereof, it starts with you. So also owning that and being like, hey, listen, like I'm not doing my DMO every day, but why? Always ask yourself, but why? So I should do this, but why am I not? Flipping it to I must do this because I have a goal and an outcome and a why. And then you can start to see your patterns like, okay, well, I'm doing this, but nothing's happening. So I probably should change my approach. It doesn't matter if you change your approach 1 time or 500 times. You're still in the forward moving action versus not waking up in the morning and doing your routine and DMO and getting into state and being grateful and not visualizing it. And then you're in the same cycle over and over again. So to break that pattern, it really is starting from the beginning. So that is pretty much all of it. I had one more thought, but I kind of forgot it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep. Yeah, that's not it. I mean, I'm sure it could probably do more, but I would just be reading my notes. Those are my like key takeaways.
Well, that was awesome. The part about turning your shoulds into musts, I think that
was my big one too. I texted you that. I texted you that in the moment.
Yeah.
And realistically, it's like the whole 2 millimeters between excellent and outstanding. Like you strive to be excellent, but like what makes you like we're all playing it good, right? We're all on here. We all know business. We all know that we want to do something incredible. We all know that we want to spread the power of ketones. That's why we're here. That's why you showed up. That's why you showed up on a Sunday in the middle of the summer. We're all here and doing that, and you're catching in the replay. But so you're making the time and effort to be here, to learn, to want to do this. So you're good, but so is everyone. That's why I want to go from 7, because I think 7 is a good leader. 6 is an achiever, 7 is a good leader, 8 is a pro champ, and that's outstanding. That's playing at an outstanding level, and I want to be an outstanding person and human and all of that. Rochelle asked me what my DMO is, and that is something I definitely need to set and evaluate. Morning routine, and like I appreciate the Tony Robbins approach. I appreciate our more approach. I'm very zen and tapping into, as you can tell, I'm very masculine. So I'm actually starting to tap into my like energy and my flow and like being more of like a feminine. It's just something I'm called to do after years and years and years and years of being super, I will always be manly Mandy, I think. But, I'm trying to tap into that a little bit. So just doing more like mindfulness and gratefulness and envisioning what I want and feeling it inside of me. I'm not a visual person, but when I do meditate and get into the state, it really is calming. So I want to get into that. And Tony actually talks about like the 3 things. So he primes himself. So it's like all of this breathing and stuff. You can Google it or I'll pop it into our thing. It's very aggressive and kind of weird and was way out of my comfort zone. And you guys can definitely try it. if you want. It's just something I don't think I will personally use because I don't know, it's just a little out of my comfort zone, but he did challenge us to do it for 10 days. So I am going to commit to 10 days to doing it. It's just some sort of priming breathing. And then, so that's for 3 minutes. And then he does 3 minutes of gratitude and then T3 visioning. So like time for envisioning outside. So that's what he's doing. And then I'm going to model that. I'm going to get into state, like pretty much just shift coming out of that meditation and gratefulness, shifting in a place of like, again, not from aggressive, because that's kind of what I usually have led with in the past was like a pump up, amped up music. I'm going to take that shift and create more, and then like create content or write my schedule or like something that I want to do from like a creative standpoint, and then go into getting amped up and being like, I'm going to help 100 people or answer all of these messages that are waiting. So, and then setting those numbers, whatever those numbers, I mean, I have, not all of them are active, but 650 people that are in my manifest of in the back office that I literally have not really touched down on. So getting that established, but I'd say probably 50 a day, 50 new connects, 50 old connects, and 50 touchdowns, and then hit my team. I think that's a pretty acceptable number every single day before I go to bed for what I want to achieve. So don't be overwhelmed if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I have to do 50. No, you don't. You can do whatever works in your mold. But for me and what I'm doing, yeah. And yeah, he did do the same breathing exercises. It really does. There's some sort of science mentality behind it. I think it not triggers me, but it's just very out of my comfort zone. So I'm going to do it for 10 days like he asked, and I'll report back and let you guys know how it's going. But it's just a certain like hold your breath and release. So there's that. Yeah, that's all I got, guys. I'm done. Told you.
That's awesome stuff.
I know, it's a lot. I mean, imagine being in the room for like, I was at the room on Thursday from 9 a.m. until 2 in the morning. We walked on fire at 2 in the morning. It was a lot. So,
wow.
Yeah. And I guess my only caveat to all of that is like going back to like the very first thing is like, if you aren't called to any of this, or like you do want to be higher achiever, play at a higher level, like he also talks about like the bullshit excuses. Andy swears a lot, and I'm actually going to not apologize for that anymore for what I do. And it's not because I'm like being vulgar sailor mouth. It's just because like it does trigger. Words are taboo, but words are meant to like trigger you. And I mean, he has a little like adult language in his binder, but like if you're on a live video, I mean, this is just whatever. But for me, if I'm talking about something that fires me up, I'm going to not censor myself anymore. And I think that you guys just be yourselves and do whatever works for you. But if you want to play at a higher level, you really need to show up, and you really need to remove the excuses of, I can't get the time off, I can't do this. Be resourceful. The most successful people, he had no money, like literally no money. His lights were shut off. He had a friend come over and was embarrassed. He got an eviction notice, all of the same, like all in the same day. His car got towed and he had nothing, literally nothing. And he turned into this person because he was resourceful. He dropped his bullshit. He went to the beach and like literally ran. And it's changing your physiology. So if you're in this mindset pattern and you can't break it, like Annette says that she can't break her, she can't, I know I should be doing this. Or if you're shooting all over yourself. Okay, well, if you're shooting all over yourself, break the pattern, but you need to do something physical because it changes your physiology. But before you do that, you really need to get clear on like, you need to get leverage on yourself. This is something that he taught too. So we shoot all over ourselves because we don't have enough leverage on ourselves to make the change, because nothing's happening to us that's really making an impact on ourselves, right? So we don't do our DMOs because every time we wake up, it's a sick cycle. Well, it's only the 15th. I can do it, or I'm good. Like there's nothing like concrete. Like what would your life look like if you kept making the same mistake over and again? Really get clear on that. Like if I don't do my DMO every day, I'm going to drop rank because I'm going to not pay my car bill because I'm not going to get my car bonus. Like, that's scary, but it's not scary enough to fire me up until like 4 days before the end of the month. So now that I've changed my physiology by coming to this event and really listening and like doing the work that we did, you can do it on a different level by like literally going for a run and being like, okay, I'm going to think about this now, change your physiology, really get into gratitude, really envisioning it happening, and you'll start to make the changes. But you need to be really clear, like, if you don't be present in your business, what's going to happen? Or if you don't have that hard conversation, the same pattern is going to happen over and over again, whatever is going on in your life. So you have to change your physiology, get leverage on yourself, being very clear on the fact, like, shit's going to go down if you don't change, and then start making the changes gradually. So, yeah. So just being resourceful in the fact of just get to a proven event. I mean, all of this stuff is just really drilled into you over and over again and a different level that's more specific to prove it, but it really applies everywhere. So I was happy to see that. It was pretty cool, but now it's just like ingrained in me. And I went to three other prove it events, and no, two, going to third. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm like, finally got it, you know? So. Can you touch on cold recruiting or adding people to your team because they have qualities you desire in people to be on your team? Also, what traits do you see in people who perform? So I think Rutherford and Dustin have a video where I do remember some sort of training, which I can remember off the cuff. So basically, I wouldn't cold recruit anyone. I would at least get them on a product, because I don't want anyone on my team that has granted, Jamie never tried ketones, but she had researched it and at least knew what it was. But I don't think that I would really want anyone on my team who has not at least tried ketones to have a story, because I've had people join my team that think this is an amazing business opportunity, which it is, but then they drop off because they're not as like ketone crazy as we all are. So kind of having the casual conversation. But one thing that was drilled in, and BU says this all the time, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So if you have someone that you truly believe would be amazing for the team, just talk to them. Like, if it's meant to be, it will be. You're not going to, I don't think it's going to be a negative thing. Just be honest and be like, hey, listen, like, I feel found. I felt like this, I feel like this, and I found this. And it will go from there. But it goes back to going into state and being grateful and seeing the outcome before you have the conversation. Does that make sense, Rochelle?
Good stuff. And I think that a lot of times when we resonate with somebody and we approach them from a state of just truly wanting relationship and conversation, the opportunity is going to present itself, and the right people are just going to gravitate, and the door will open for that conversation or for that product or for that potential business partner, without having to just cold market them about an opportunity. Excuse me. I would challenge everybody on here tonight, and I think I know for sure most of you have already committed to more Keto Academy or more. And so I would really do some soul searching about that, because what Mandy's talked about, a lot of these techniques and this deeper awareness and deeper development are hard to get through a book. They're hard to get through a mastermind. But being there, as those that have been there, Rochelle and the Chavez's and Amber, Dr. Nat, those that have been to major events can tell you that it just shifts and changes everything. So I really challenge you, if you haven't made that decision yet, to really put it on your radar and work towards it, or get with somebody on your team to maybe brainstorm ideas around if there's any blocks or if there's any hindrances on you making that event in Dallas. What I'm excited about also is getting to tour the brand new factory that I've never seen before. I've seen the old factory, I think 4 times, but we haven't been to the new factory. So I'm excited for that. And also like Mandy said, I think that let's take some time and really figure out what our goals are and set some concrete goals, because we all our tendencies want to get busy and we want to share ketones, but we oftentimes, and this is a weak spot of mine, is fail to set some goals or fail to set, what you're shooting for. And if we don't have that target, it's hard to know when we're going to hit it, right? It's hard to hit it. So think about that. And then I encourage you guys, just as an accountability challenge, to either send it to me or to your upline champ, what those goals are. And it could be a rank. It may not be a rank. It may be a DMO. I'm committing to do this, or my goal is to hit this rank, or whatever that looks like to you. Think about that. Do some deep thought in that area, and write something down and make some goals, some concrete goals of what you want to hit by a certain period of time, whether it's a month or 3 months or 6 months, and then shoot that to somebody. Any other questions before we wrap up?